should probably prepare the links sooner and such. But like I was supposed to do like a blue sky and then the Twitters. I gotta get up a blurb on the things. And there we go. We are now live.
Aw, you ruined it.
I know I ruined it. I happened to have like the YouTube video right on my second.
It's supposed to be a surprise. You guys say random stupid shit and nobody knows. God.
And that's when they made me their chief as well.
I have few joys in life, Geek. God damn it.
Ruining the joys in life of a cis-het white man is one of my joys in life. So there you go.
Okay, Melissa Etheridge.
It's funny because this technique has a chance of us saying embarrassing things. It also just has this chance of us just not saying shit for like 5 minutes after we've gone live. We're waiting for you to go live.
But the fact is that you guys are always just chatting, and you never say embarrassing shit, and you never say shit.
Yes, hello,
and it's here.
And it's here. So, hello, lads, lasses, and NB badasses. How's everyone doing?
I am doing well. And context wrench, you probably have related experience to the title, but in this case, living with jerks means Joe.
For living with cats, Joe.
Yeah, I'm always covered in scabs.
None
because...
of you live with me.
Yeah, living with cats is like that. I have a lot of scabs on me because Sasha does not play well.
So, hello, Context Rest, hello, Jimmy Ditches, Heretics, hello, Joe Jordan P, hello,
Mithril!
Yes, and right now I'm in the portion where I'm sharing around the links to all of the Discord servers. So it's like I'm kind of either ahead or on time with everything that's going on. So yes, it's the second Sunday. It says so those shows out week, but it's also the second Sunday of the month. And so because it's the second Sunday of the month, it's our Patreon shows, and so we will thank our patrons. This were off the top of my head, the Kama Sutra scholar, Mithril, Flora, Marty, Tim, the Fuckboys, Ely, and Joe McClure, who's joining us right now, and Snap Noise and Von Rack as were too as well. And in case we get did we get any new ones? Go ahead, Joe.
Have you ever thought that you might be living or experiencing a political bubble when somebody says that they are covered in scabs, and the immediate thought was, man, you must have a lot of non-union coworkers.
I know several other Joes who are jerks. Yeah, there's a lot of bad Joes and terrible Joes in history and in the world as well too. And we are joined by one of our other patrons, Ely. Hello, Ely. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just had an argument with some Americans about geography.
Did they think Denmark was on top of Germany?
No, it was because on TikTok there was this clip from a Simpsons episode that was about Denmark, and they referred to Denmark as the jewel of the Baltic, which is kind of weird because you would never refer to Denmark as Baltic, because if you refer to Denmark, the Baltic countries refers to Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia. I know.
Yeah, but I mean, you are kind of on the Baltic. I would say you're biseawal. You're on the northern and Baltic seas.
It's like you wouldn't refer to it as that.
No, you're Nordic.
Yeah.
You're Scandinavian.
Yeah, you would never refer to it like that, and it was just. But that episode of The Simpsons is really weird.
No, you're Aryan. That's what you are.
Yeah.
You're a German, Scandinavian, Nordic, Baltic
Yeah.
hybrid.
You are everything that Hitler wanted. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, but it's just like I know where it is geographically, but it would be like referring to Portugal as like the jewel of the Atlantic. That would also be a weird thing to say, even if it technically were true.
It's like, I guess it is technically on the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, but you would never refer to it as that. Or maybe
I would, just because I'm a dick.
I would now as
Nope.
an inside joke. Hello, we got
Sound's not working.
No,
Oh.
we can hear you.
Hello.
Can you hear us? Hello?
Oh, you can hear me. I can hear
Okay.
you. That's
Yay, we can hear
Yes.
each other.
Yes. It's important for us to hear each other because if we can hear you, but you can't hear us, and like there's like all sorts of confusion of like talking over each other. That would be fun. Baltic-ish? Yeah, context rich.
Baltish. That's what they are. They're Baltish.
yeah,
Voltage.
No, but that episode of The Simpsons is really sort of weird. It's both very praising, but it's also it gets a lot of things slightly wrong that are really odd.
And Mithril is coming to us from the jewel of the channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
just
Girl.
no. I wish I wasn't. I wish I was somewhere else. It's a shithole, and I hate it here.
You don't like England? Because I always thought people have always said England was such a good country.
Whoever told you that was lying to your face, mate. Oh, seriously. Right, there are lots of good
I
things.
tell myself that.
There are lots of good things about England. Don't get me wrong, and Scotland and Wales and Ireland as well. But
And they're all stolen from
The
other
English are not
countries.
among them.
King.
yeah, the English are definitely not among them.
Certainly not Keith Starmer.
Oof. Don't.
No, his name is probably Keir Starmer or something, but I'm going to call him Keith
Yeah.
Starmer.
He's a kid starver at the moment. He's nickname. The Arsenal thing. Yeah, right. Whatever.
I will never ever acknowledge your actual. Do you care about football? I don't know.
I'm a fan, not a supporter. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You follow it, but you don't go to the games and wear the
I don't.
shirts.
I'll follow it, but I don't really give a damn that much. Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. That's the same kind of.
Let's see. In that case, since you don't care all that much, I'm going to have to choose something else.
You're going to put Keir Starmer on him. Then
I already have a picture of Keir Starmer downloaded. Yes. There he is.
Thank you so much.
So Illy was like arguing with like Americans about like geography, even in like in this country, in like because like my mom has met someone who said like, oh no way, Wisconsin borders Michigan.
It does. I mean, it doesn't border most of mainland Michigan because there's a lake there.
Yes.
I mean, Michigan, unless you're talking about the Upper Peninsula.
Yes. Apparently, this person thinks, I don't know what that person thinks about like that part of Michigan is north. The UP, the Upper Peninsula is like part of Wisconsin, which you can argue certainly, but like, so yeah, Americans not knowing things, not surprising, honestly.
I think I prefer the
oh.
veg in the tent to the one sitting on top Keir Starmer's head.
Speaking of Wisconsin, I have a fantastic tell me your white without telling me your white story from Wisconsin.
Share
Pronounced
us.
Wisconsin.
So this guy was having problems with divorce court, and he had found out that his judge was fairly recently appointed by Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, and he went to complain about this judge to the governor, and he went without a shirt, with a bulldog and a pistol, and he was asked to leave, and his pistol was taken, and he got bailed out. And then later that day, after being bailed out, came back with a rifle.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I've heard this story.
And he's not dead. I don't.
Do you know what happened if a black guy did that?
He would be dead.
Die.
Just guess.
Because like even if like a black guy picks up a rifle at a Walmart because they do sell rifles because it's sporting goods, hunting as it were, you're legally allowed to inspect that unloaded gun. I'm sure, which is how any customer can pick it up and look at it as it were. But that person got.
They
shot
do
dead
keep it in a glass case that is locked with a very small lock, usually.
Yeah. Hey, Groundhog, hi, pop in and say hi, and then like going back to bed since I now work graveyards and I'm tired. Oh,
yeah.
That sucks.
I still find it weird that you can just go into a supermarket and find a gun.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
It's America.
it's only if they have a sporting goods sections and they.
I'll say,
like,
well, calling Walmart a supermarket is a little.
department
I
store.
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have like places
Yeah,
that have grocery stores, but also like full other
Yeah.
stores.
we have a couple of those, but then I mean, yes, the really big ones can have like sporting goods, but it's really rare.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck you, John.
I'm giving you the face of a billionaire. God. A beloved billionaire. She's very popular.
Okay, no. It's franchise of Harry Potter is still very popular, yes, but like Jackass Karen Ruins, I'm not sure if she's like still beloved now. Unless you're a fascist and a transphobe, yes.
Jesus.
Yes,
I'm really gonna have to download a picture of.
Yes, or turn on your camera if you have
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Now, even if you turn on your camera, like John Brockman, who's like doesn't like being called kind of an asshole, he wants to be a full asshole. We'll probably still have a picture of something over
Oh
you.
God, yeah, of course he would. That's all right. I've got broad shoulders. I can take it.
Yes, Archie, Phoenix's cat. You're right. The human world is a mess. We should all be cats, honestly. So, what's happening in the world this were?
What you mean, apart from the Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people? Apart
Yeah.
from that,
Oh yeah, holy shit!
Hamas is going like crazy. There's like pictures of them like coming in with like paragliders.
No,
Yeah.
that was Jeremy Corbyn. It's well known. We've established this fact. The fucking press in the UK have been doorstepping Jeremy Corbyn, demanding that he express solidarity with our Israeli brothers and sisters. Oh, my brain hurts.
Yeah. This because like
I'm sorry. I'd like to apologise for my country for every fucking thing it's done in the last 40 years.
just the last 40 years.
All right,
400.
400, yeah, probably closer.
400, yeah, that's a good start. Yeah, same with like
Actually, no. I'm still upset about the 100 Years' War, so go back to 600 or 700.
My mother recently said to me, "Oh, the 90s was so peaceful."
For white people.
That's not who you ask.
Maybe she would have enjoyed a trip to Northern Ireland at that particular moment.
Yeah,
Maybe
and,
Yugoslavia.
and like the Balkan
Can't-
War and
Mm.
the first Iraqi War. I don't know if you know what I.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
the Desert Storm occupation
Yeah.
is where
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Can't
yeah,
think of any kind of troubles.
yeah.
Oh,
and the war in Rwanda and yeah.
no, there's
most people who like say the 90s are the best.
And And that's only it.
And
And that's
morons.
only like stuff that like we're like you still should count, you know, Russia and Afghanistan as well. You know, it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say as like as kind of like a '90s nerd. I mean, usually that nostalgia is like reserved for like for people who are like far removed from a crisis. So people can
Yeah, pleasure.
people in America can say the '90s was the best because you know
They were kids.
Exactly,
yeah,
just as Phoenix said.
or it's seen from their point of view. You know, like
Mhm.
Cold War ended. You know, like America is like so far removed from a lot of the world's problems that can kind of be this weird myopic innocence towards the '90s.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, and I felt that, there was, with my mom, like, I mean, so I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty interesting time, but
It
never,
was, and like as Jordan Pete, like I mentioned, Dorma was like passed in the '90s.
That's after the Republicans finally made their switch. 94 was when we got, what's his name, Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
The god-awful piece of shit who left his wife when she had cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know about that about like Newt Gingrich, but like not surprised with like everything else I know about like Newt Gingrich because like that's where it's like it never ever worked with the like Democrats, the opposition. That strategy.
He was the
Like,
Mitch McConnell of 1995.
Yeah, exactly.
Without the personality.
Bullied at school, emotionally abused, ignored at home. I eventually started writing
Oh.
fan fiction within all my favorite characters like love me is where I Phoenix, I have a lot of like daydreams where it's just like again it's like fan fiction where it's like, oh, my favorite characters are like in this like group and that sort of thing too. I never wrote anything down and I often don't share. It's like, Mom, has anyone told you that your life is very sad?
Archie, be more loving. Chase the red dot and then cuddle mommy.
Well, no, Archie was cuddling like mommy for a long time, as it were. Or Phoenix, hopefully you can reclaim your right arm or your chest or anything like that, because that's where like Archie was deciding this is where I'll sit all the time, dude. The fuck did they know? Yeah, exactly. But give Phoenix money if you have the ability to. Give Jordan and Roberts like money if you're able to. That is that should be the latest Baking Bowl, October 23rd. That Baking Bowl, yeah, okay. And yeah, I'll also provide the links for Joey Fire Lame Gear because yeah, I bet like Joey still needs like has bills hanging on this. That's feline paralysis though. Yeah, feline paralysis. Where I have not experienced that, but then again, I don't have cats. But like, I will give in to feline paralysis if it does happen to me because that's what you do as a cat owner. Just like, do not move the cats. Or try your best not to.
Not even a cat owner, just somebody with a cat on them.
It's true. Very true.
Very true.
People have died.
Definitely be stuck by other people's cats.
Yep. Yep. I never forget going round to see a friend of mine and their kitten sat on my head and put each one of its forepaws clawed firmly into my scalp. It was a bit of bad luck. There was a little bit of bad language went off.
I've been in a hurry, and one of the cats decides now's the time that I'm gonna lay across the hallway and look all cute, and like, look at my tummy, and I like stop for like a minute and a half just petting this cat. It's so cute, and I'm already in a rush.
If your cat sits on you and gives a little headbutt, they love you. Yes, absolutely. Lynx also like do that as well. Like they headbutt each other like in a little bit for like affection as well too.
Mm-hmm. Although you should not have a pet lynx.
Yes, you should not. Those ones are not domesticated as were. Foxes, there are some foxes are domesticated, but like generally speaking, no. You have to take care of the foxes if you do, and they do require some like special maintenance as it were to like care for a fox. But like it's possible to get a pet fox, but like you really have to like take care of the foxes as well too. If a cat sits on you and gives you no, I already read that. So like, yeah, Israel and Palestine, and like, so yeah, Mithril, you were saying that like the press was constantly going, it immediately just like throwing like a press conference right at Jeremy Corbyn, and it's like, wait a minute, is he even like part of like labor at this
Judy!
point? Hello,
No.
Letourneau. He's not. So like, still he has to answer for like his positions of like the
Yeah.
Israel-Palestine like conflict as well too.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. It's straight up and down victimization, really. You
Yeah.
know, the guy took a position that some people didn't like particularly. I think,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Yeah.
it's kind of just what it is.
Yeah, and so like yes, so I think the latest that I've read is just like Hamas is like kind of like finally like well like bulldozing down like Gates as were too, but it's just like I'm sure that like Hamas has like done some terrible things as well, but how I view it right now is that like I'm siding with the Palestinian people as the least. For sure, the Palestinian people because they're currently living in an apartheid state as well. Yeah, okay. I will.
Because they're not missiling 12-story buildings.
Mhm,
They're not murdering children.
Yeah.
mhm.
I mean, those children did get a little bit too close to the fence, let's be honest. And that is equal to the crime of missiling a 12-story building full of women and children.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Because no, okay, no, Letourneau, you have to ask the question? Why does Mithra have a mullet? John Brockman, you know John Brockman. He doesn't like it when he is called kind of an asshole. He wants to be a full asshole.
And
So-
that is noted mentally ill anti-Semite David Icke.
Oh my god! I was like, his face looks familiar, but I don't know where he was from. It's like, oh my god, it's the lizard.
And now that somebody has asked me about it, I'll change it to a different person. Let me download a new picture. I'm going to have to make a folder just for Mithril.
Yes.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, so yeah, so Phoenix has provided link to like Soul Bunny. I have seen Soul Bunny on like some panels before as well. I like Soul Bunny. Like I think she's great. Was doxed by a certain leftist streamer and their fans, and so her safety is at risk, and she's like has to move in December. All right, I'm tied. I'm tapped out the like funds right now, so I have to like wait until like my payday, which is happened to be Friday the 13th. That's fun. I don't know. I'm not superstitious about Friday the 13th at all.
Well, you may not get as much money as you thought you would, so just be aware of that.
If I'm not getting as much money as I thought I would, there's going to be like I'm going to have issues because like on the 19th, like going to start making payments for my PC, because like yeah, that's how I can afford my PC. I'm like on a payment plan for 18 months.
Also, the fact that number is bad luck because of Christian iconography is so batshit. As a thing they believe is this was all of a plan, and it wasn't coincidence, and luck had nothing to do with it, and it's very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
Oh.
as like and why certain numbers are also lucky too. I think like 7 because like it's 4 and 3 added together. If I remember
It's because
correctly.
there are 7 celestial objects that are visible with the naked eye. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars,
That's
Jupiter,
Saturn.
Saturn. Hence, the names of the days of the week are based on those 7
And
things.
also, like, some of the days of the week are also based off like Norse gods. Like,
Mm-hmm. You have to switch. It's if you once you get away from the Christian bullshit of Saturday and Sunday being named after the holy days, Sabbath day and church day. The Latin naming system, Monday through Friday, are based on the planets.
That's what Saturday means. Does that mean
Saturn's day, yeah.
Okay.
Sunday, Moon Day. Uh,
Mars
let's
Day.
see.
I
No.
thought it was the moon's day.
Martis is the Mars Day. Miraculous is Mercury Day.
Mm.
Jovis is Jupiter, Jove.
Hmm.
Then Viernes is Venus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why 7 is lucky. 13 is unlucky because, I don't know, it looks like a penis.
Maybe because like, well, if like
It was 12 disciples plus Jesus at
Yeah,
the last.
at the Last Supper on
Mhm.
the day before Jesus was killed on Friday, which is was the reason why Friday the 13th is particularly.
Yeah.
Even though the Last Supper was actually Thursday, if you follow their beliefs.
Hey, nobody's ever accused the Christian Church of consistency. Do you mind?
I often joke. No, there's a comedian that joke that it's like Good Friday. It's the day that Jesus Christ was crucified. How's that good? As it were, but it's just like it's good if like you believe that Jesus is the Lord and Savior. Blah blah blah. And he had to like
he went to heaven. He got reborn. So it was good in that sense.
It's actually the Good Friday because it was good fulfillment of the prophecy from
Except it wasn't a
Isaiah.
prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. It was something that was written into, I think it was Isaiah later on. So that
In Denmark.
Way
it's
to
called
go,
Long
Isaiah.
yeah.
what were you saying, Illy, in Denmark?
Good Friday is called Long Friday in Danish.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of makes more sense because it was a long time before he died.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things, like, you know, it seems longer when you wait and go to the bathroom. I'm sure sitting on the cross. Man, that has to make the time crawl.
Yeah.
I guess I should start singing. Always look on the bright side of life.
Oh, man.
Rewatching that movie though, yeah, it's just like, oh, I was not noticing the ableism when I first watched that. This
Yeah.
is
Yes. Think for yourself. I'm not going to say this.
And yet also that surprisingly kind of like woke moment where it's just like there was like one character, a trans woman, well played by Eric Idle though, and John Cleese, well being John Cleese, honestly going off like there's no way a man can become a woman.
Oh God, yeah.
But yet
And
they still
that's what he says today.
yes, again John Cleese being John Cleese as well. Talk about
John Cheese.
it's yes. And it was John Cleese that wrote the cheese shop.
He brings shames to Johns everywhere.
Yes.
But I've heard that originally his family name was Cheese, and then they changed it to Cleese because it wouldn't have been. They changed it when one of the
People didn't like it.
enlisted or something.
But no, John Cleese did wrote the cheese shop. That's where it's just like all it was just a list of cheese because like that's what like Brand Chapman and John Cleese kind of like a sketch they do. They just like will take something and just like list all how many ways can you say dead as were X late and then the dead parrot sketch as were.
Mm-hmm.
You have a meteorologist here in Tallahassee, who's like one of the chief meteorologists on our news network. His name is Casanova Nurse.
That's a fun name.
Casanova Nurse. Oh my god.
Well, with a name like that, he either had to become a stripper, a wrestler, or a meteorologist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew a pony once who was called Casanova Kurt.
Oh God. We took my puppy. We took the puppy to puppy socialization party this week, and there was about 15 dogs there, but there was a particularly rambunctious, short-haired dachshund who went by the name of Romeo and damn well acted like it as well. Every female dog in the place, he was climbing on board.
Just helping himself.
Every
Yeah,
dog,
yeah.
every leg, every ottoman.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh dear. Talk about needing a cold bucket of water.
Yeah, that's where. Okay, but remember, I'm sure someone has like a spray bottle for those like puppy socialization days. Is where
One man pouring a bucket of water over 2 dogs, Julie.
Yeah. Yes.
2 dogs fighting? 2 dogs fighting? He would have given his left arm to be called 2 dogs fighting.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. I'm sorry, Lato.
Fair point. Fair point, Letono. Yeah, dog people should not say that cat people are weird. So like, okay, so we allow our cats to like sit on us, feeling like paralysis, as we established as were. But yet, yeah, dogs can definitely
Let
be
him
weird
finish.
too.
True.
So yes, but like as Mithril says, he wants just like cock block another dog's like good times as it were too,
Oh,
because
Jesus.
like there you go. That's a title for a future zone. Cock blocking the dogs.
Cocker spaniel block, cocker block.
Oh, yes.
Cocky block.
Is that another model of Titanic, Isaiah?
What now?
What are you working on?
No, aren't you lurking in the Lusitania?
Yes. Well, it's not the Lusitania. It's the Cappadocia. That's a fictional art ship that I'm building. But I am paying attention and watching the class.
No. You can do your own thing. That's totally fine.
No,
Yeah,
don't
you're here at
mind.
the call.
Mhm.
I would honestly, I would play video games, but I do want to pay attention to things. Like I pay attention to like the new photo that's on Mithril right now. I didn't recognize the previous king that he had up there, but
That
like,
was Edward the Third.
I don't know
Wow.
my English kings as
It
well.
looked like
Wow.
an Edward.
I'm really getting it today, eh?
Yes, you all really getting that today. I don't know
Would
what
you care to
said.
enlighten the audience, Geek, as to who this newest one is?
Someone that if I die and go to hell, I'm going to immediately find her and kill her again over again. That's my mission when I go to hell.
Yeah,
the new-
I can take it, Julie. It's all right. It's fine.
Again, Metro's like an English white man, a cis-het white man, so like, of course he can take it.
He deserves it
Well,
for all the slavery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
colonization is worth, and then like the USA picked it up
Yeah,
as well.
All those slaves were
bloody
owned by
Americans
buggers
still
from Liverpool.
whining about it.
Yeah, that's Americans. We just complain all the time, and sometimes go on like a debate or whatever. So, what else is good? Any movies? Any entertainment or movies that like anyone seen recently, or books reading as were?
And
So-
of course is he.
I have taken Yoi's advice and finally bought Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. So
Oh,
I've not started it yet, but I've got 2 books I need to read, and since I only ever get about 20 minutes in a day nowadays to read, it's taking me just a bit of time. But yeah, I thought I'd buy it. I saw it and I thought I've got to buy it and read this because I need to educate myself a bit.
yeah, same here. There's
I-
a couple of.
Sorry, I was just going to say I've been rewatching Futurama. But Joe wanted to recommend a series.
First, I want to thank John for his recommendation of Dungeon Crawler Carl, because I got a chance to get a good start on the first book as I earlier this week on my day off, I did a 5-hour drive to Waukegan because that's where I was born. Well, not I was born in that county, and I needed my birth certificate to get a passport within a reasonable amount of time because there is a service in which you can like send them a copy of your ID and they will mail you your birth certificate, but the problem is that apparently has a 4 to 6 month wait period on it, which is a bit excessive. I don't know what they do, but I can't imagine what took 5 minutes in the county clerk's office taking 5 months. I don't.
This is the book I'm reading.
Captain Picard. Star Trek.
Oh, Star Trek novel. Oh, okay.
Americans with a passport, that never ends well. Sorry.
But what do you call it? Along the lines of the earlier mithril picture of the Queen of Turf Island. I found a book series about a magical school by author Naomi Novik called the Scholomance books, and they like start out as like a really
with that hair, she's definitely not a turf.
They start out as like a really interesting different take on the magical school genre, and eventually become a scathing criticism of capitalism.
Nice.
It's very thinly veiled, in which like a major plot point is, the whole system is based off of a child that we torture forever for our own safety and comfort.
So, like, the ones who walk away from Omelas?
Yeah, kinda. And it's fantastic. It's well written. It actually understands like adolescent like crush and stuff. There's no like.
So would that be A Deadly Education?
That's the first book, yeah.
Yeah. The first in a trilogy set in the Scholomance. The retelling of folklore about a school of black magic. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good, and anyone who enjoys, who remembers a time in which they enjoyed.
They're making a movie about
books about magical schools, but also doesn't hate trans people, might actually enjoy.
I mean, first of all, scathing to the criticism of capitalism as a whole. Yeah, you're not gonna get that from like the certain other magical schools franchise as well too. Because we won the day because like Harry Potter's rich. And it's like, A Deadly Education. It's the first.
I look forward to the Rightoids having a meltdown about how woke this film is. Then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it
stars a half Welsh, half Indian character. So, obviously, it's going to be played by a blonde white guy.
Absolutely.
The movie I just finished watching was Barbie. Really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that, too.
Ryan Reynolds is the most attractive white guy I've ever seen.
He is a good-looking white guy at like a perfect end.
He's very symmetrical.
Did you say Ryan Reynolds?
I mean Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not.
Ryan Reynolds is also a very attractive white guy.
I mean, that's not untrue, but he's not in that movie.
I know what I'm gonna say. He was in that movie. You just didn't notice because he was very sneaky about it. He's a sly actor. Ryan Reynolds is in every movie.
I'm gonna say Ryan Gosling. That's like the only white power I can get behind.
The submissive white power.
Enough.
Yeah, so Jojo P just finished watching Star Wars Rebels and Ahsoka, and has been both my favorite of Star Wars so far. Oh, okay, that's cool. Joanna Roberts has told me to I should get into like Rebels. I think I actually bought the DVDs for the first 2 seasons. Now I think about it. But also, because I'm like that kind of like that nerd that's like completionist, is where it's like, no, I have to go in a certain order. So I want, because I also want to, complete the Clone Wars animated series, because I heard good things about that one, and I've watched quite a bit of it too. And like what I've seen, I've really enjoyed, because and it gives an actual character I can care about and get behind. I mean, all these other characters are actual characters I can like and get behind as well, like Obi-Wan, Padme as well, and Ahsoka there as well. So I do want to finish
The Clone Wars really did a lot to rehabilitate the prequel series, the prequel trilogy for me. And the final season, when they got renewed and were able to do, they did some really awesome stuff. I mean, the Bad Batch arc was just setting up that series, but then the Ahsoka, the 8 episodes focusing on her was just fucking amazing.
Yeah, that is there's a lot of the Clone Wars that's pretty disposable, especially the earlier stuff. But that last 8 episodes is like some of the best Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I mean they're very aware that they're coming up to the start of the 3rd movie, and they milk it. They do an exceptional job.
Yeah, and George R.P., I am aware that like I have to watch Clone Wars and Rebels first before Ahsoka, because I might be confused otherwise. Is where because
it's only 30 hours of stuff.
I'll eventually get through it, and unfortunately, I'm that kind of nerd. It's like, oh, I have to watch it all. And it's like, unless now it's like, honestly, not watching it all, pick and choose what I watch. I should have learned that from some anime shows as well.
I was saying, and since you have such copious free time, Geek, might I also suggest One Piece?
Yeah, it's just like, but One Piece I might start watching, because there's a Netflix show that just came out, and it's like it seems to be really good. But I could really, John Brockman. You're getting all of the British pieces of shit that you know of.
Yep. If I've heard of them, it's probably because they're a piece of shit.
the only man who makes what do you call it?
Jackass Karen Rollins.
Who puts what do you call it? Elon Musk in contention for not being the most divorced man.
Jordan, you know Mithril loves it.
No. Jordan, John Brockman is testing Mithril, seeing how much Mithril can take before, like, Mithril says, "Oh, come on." John Brockman is forcing Mithril to turn on his webcam and have an avatar over his head to become a cat.
I don't have a webcam. I was just trying to fix my phone to act as a camera, and it didn't work. But I don't care.
It's tricky to do that as well too. But yeah.
I watched a really sort of weird, funny, sort of animated series called Koala Man.
Oh, Koala Man.
I haven't. Or did you say Koala Man?
Yeah, Koala Man.
Koala Man. Oh.
Yeah, it's about a man who he dresses up as a superhero, but he's not very sort of good at it. But then the series gets really weird afterwards. But it's a little bit sort of BoJack Horseman-ish.
Yeah.
It gets a lot of character development that's really nice. But I can't really explain what it's about.
Yeah. BoJack Horseman, that's another one that that Phoenix is we have conversations about it, and he recommended it highly. I gotta watch that as well. They have shown me some also scenes of it, and it's just no, it's the damn talent, because BoJack Horseman. He's kind of is aware of some of his like flaws and like wants to try to like be good, but yet fails and sometimes fails at doing that. And like I find that might be quite interesting. So I definitely
Yeah,
want to like.
it's one of those one of those few things that I got it pretty highly recommended to me, but I was still genuinely surprised by how much I liked it.
Mhm. Oh, there's also like Archer that's like people like be fans of and seems to recommend it as well. So I don't know. Again, it's just like so yeah. As like speaking of like shows that I got catch up on, Clone Wars is the war, and then One Piece is the war.
I've always like watching like older TV shows. Like I've been actually like I'm gonna actually watch some Daria tonight. But I've also been
Oh
binging
yeah.
Powerpuff Girls,
Uh,
the
Power,
OG Powerpuff Girls.
the first season of Powerpuff Girls is like again I've been seen a couple of episodes of it, but like I know that my uncle was a fan of it, and after seeing a couple of episodes, like no, I can see why my uncle's a fan of it because like the humor in Powerpuff Girls reminds me of the Tick, the original animated series of the Tick as well too, but that kind of absurdist humor is where so like yeah I think that Powerpuff Girls is definitely a show I will watch, and
Hey, you guys ever Dexter's Laboratory? Sorry to interrupt, by the way.
no problem. Dexter's Laboratory. No, I haven't seen it. Maybe one or two episodes. As like was.
I'm
like,
a grown man. I don't watch cartoons unless it's Rick and Morty, or Futurama, or She-Ra.
There are so many cartoons from that period that were just so like none of the work was done in making the animation look good, but the writing is so on point.
yeah.
Like it was just genuinely really funny, whether you're a kid or an adult.
Mhm. Yeah. That reminds me of like there's the new Animaniac, which again the terrible people are complaining
Yeah,
about how
I still haven't gotten around to the new Animaniacs, so I don't know how that holds up compared.
I only
to
saw a little bit
True.
of Animaniacs back in the day, but it was. I mean, those cartoons were topical.
Yeah.
And I remember,
They were.
so was Tiny Toons?
yes, that was the show that the Tom Ruger and the crew created before that, and like made a lot of money, so they were allowed to like do the show that they wasn't.
I remember the
Yeah.
Daffy Duck clone kid going to England looking for Chuck and Di. Charles and Diane.
Oh
There was a
my.
Freakazoid, if anyone has watched.
Freakazoid was so good. Yeah. Paul Rudd, who was a writer for Animaniacs, that created Freakazoid, and like where he would annoy the like characters. I think he actually wanted to like kind of like there was like another character that was kind of similar to Freakazoid that like Bruce and Tim wanted to introduce into the Batman animated series, and they couldn't do that. So, and I think like Paul, oh man, Movie Bob in a long time ago. The guy who has like opinions I don't agree with politically. He did a video about like Freakazoid a couple of times before, so it's like the history of like Freakazoid is quite interesting because like
Talking about Mr.
eventually-
Mixel's Piddlix?
no, that's been a long established like Superman like
Okay.
in, like,
Oh, they wanted to bring in a new character.
They did want to create
Okay.
a new character that was similar to Freakazoid, which they eventually did in like the fourth season of Batman the Animated Series.
I don't
my
remember that. And I should,
yeah.
because I've watched it several times.
Is that
Yeah.
is that the same like the remote control character that was also in Teen Titans? I wonder because that guy has a lot of Freakazoid vibes.
No, it wasn't that character. It is like he's like was yellow skin as it were, and I forgot why.
Okay.
And my very Catholic grandmother proclaims that Friday the 13th, luckiest day of the year.
That
Okay.
sounds like a mnemonic for remembering something. Like my very excellent mother.
My very Catholic grandmother.
Yes. My stepmom is very Catholic, I know that. Well, my biological mom is just sort of Catholic, as it were. Still very Catholic, but only sort of Catholic. She never did, we as a family never did the Ash Wednesdays thing, is where I'm freaked out by our coworkers and classmates.
That's what you look like. You look like a lobster man. You look like a Maine lobster fisherman.
Then what? Why is it called Fat Tuesday then?
That's so that like you can fatten up before
After
Ash
you
Wednesday.
fast, you feast.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
No,
before
Fat
you.
Tuesday is before you before you fast.
Okay.
Yes.
'Cause that's
You-
the day before Ash Wednesday.
There's a lot
Yes.
of things about Mardi Gras that I don't get, particularly Mardi Gras. Like, wait, is Mardi Gras even part of this?
Yes, Mardi Gras is. I think actually Mardi Gras actually
Mardi
translates to
Gras
that.
is Fat Tuesday.
Yes, it actually translates to that.
It's literally what that means. I understand, Jordan Opie. The animation is weird. The red flags are there. You're not supposed to identify with Rick. You're supposed to be
Yes.
shocked and amused by Rick. And a lot of young white guys didn't get that message.
Yeah, I
Thank you
think
for
that's.
the.
I think that's the first like property that I genuinely liked, but the fans made me not like it anymore.
Yeah.
Rick giving off like a lot of like, not toxic masculinity, but like
He's just
Right.
toxic.
frat boy humor. That's the term for it.
Maybe.
Hmm.
I mean, the point was always that Rick is a toxic person. That was always what they were going for. Dan Harmon meant that to be like sort of lancing the boils of his soul is what was Rick. That's what Rick was. So
A friend of mine told my daughter that she should not let my grandson watch the new He-Man or She-Ra cartoons because they were a bit woke.
now I have to watch the new He-Man cartoon. I already watched She-Ra. Gay as hell, loved
I
it.
very nearly broke my coffee cup biting with my teeth.
Wait,
when she said that.
so English people use the term woke too, and like,
Yeah.
Oh,
American culture has poisoned the world.
What I would be surprised by is to learn that the Danes use woke. Do they?
God damn it, you Europeans
Yes.
steal everything.
Yes, yes, but it's been imported by certain groups, certain Christian groups in America funding certain Christian
Weird.
groups in Denmark.
Our scummiest newspaper, the Daily Hate Mail, actually carried a headline the other day following the end of the Conservative Party conference saying, Rishi is the only man who can save England from Starmer's wokery. Which
Bookery?
Wokery.
Oh, okay.
I fucking wish Starmer was as woke as you motherfuckers seem to believe he is.
Oh my god!
I wish the Dems were as communist as the Republicans claim they are.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh.
2 days after that, he came on and came out with his. He'd been questioned most of last week about being what is a woman? And trotted
I
out
hear a
his,
dog. Is that a dog? Where's the dog?
Yeah, my dog. She's taken to sitting on my bedroom window ledge and shouting at people as they go past.
Like, hey,
Hey! Hey!
Yeah,
Hey! Squirrel! Hey!
she's
what?
very brave
You?
as long as there's pain in between them.
you get away from my house!
Yeah.
Now I don't know if I would like start watching Rick and Morty now knowing what about the I think the voice actor of Rick as we're or if I do like watch Rick and Morty.
The first few seasons, one of the writers was now a sex pest. We now know he was a sex pest, and he also voiced Rick, but he's gone now.
Okay.
And they've changed the style of the show. They're focusing more on Rick's growth and development and less on his shenanigans.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon in the past was also involved in some pretty shitty stuff, but he gave a master's class in how to apologize by apologizing. And
he actually decided to grow.
Yeah,
yes,
that's part of what I think inspired the show.
I wonder if I become famous. I wonder if that whole incident with me and that girl will cloud my my good deeds, I guess.
We talked about
People
that
give a little
earlier.
bit more license, and it's a mistake you made when you were young.
Mhm.
If you actually move on and change and grow. And
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's
Mhm.
like the first step in a line of terrible behavior, probably not.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. If you do a Johnny Depp, then
Well,
no.
I'll say it this way. I have always had issues with women, but it's not like on purpose. It's just, I mean,
Well,
obviously,
I
I'm not
get
a,
you. I'm awkward
obviously,
too. I'm autistic.
obviously,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not a
get you.
misogynist. Like, I'm not that.
Right.
So it's like,
Yeah, and like you have like also said before, it's just like you don't agree with the incels. You can kind of sympathize with them, but you can't you don't agree with their misogyny as well. Which is a big distinction
I
as well.
sympathize in the fact that like, especially if they're on the spectrum, I
Mhm.
sympathize with some of that. But once they start saying that there should be like rape should be legal, nah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm
And
The
besides,
whole
rape is already legal.
shit, yeah, definitely. It's a word. Unfortunately, because like,
You gotta remember too, like being a black person in a black
Mm-hmm.
family spectrum, particularly a black male, you don't really it's like you don't really get taught how to talk to women because you're already dismissed as you can't talk to women because you don't act like the stereotypical masculine figure
Mm.
that I think black masculinity wants out of people, out of black men like me. So you end up being awkward and a lot of I would probably like, and I'm just saying it for what I've seen. It's like, and like, I guess Ellie can like correct me on this, but like, there's kind of this weird like thing about women liking tough guys. I don't like, I don't know,
I don't know because I'm a trans dude.
right?
I like women myself, so
mhm.
it's like I I I I don't really know because it's like it's so sort of yeah. Do women like bad boys? I don't think they actually do, but I don't think
I'm
they
gonna see it in media. It must be true.
yeah.
I don't
Some
know.
I don't
people
think they
do. Some
actually do.
people carry on the cycle of abuse,
Yeah.
but
I think some women might like the idea of being able to change a person into being a good person, but
mhm.
I think as soon as they actually meet a bad guy, they 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 very quickly get sort of disillusioned with a bad boy because you can't change a bad boy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I think there's
there.
also the bodice ripper element of it. That they're
Yeah,
mistaking fantasy for the what people fantasize about for the reality of what they want in their lives.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll say there's. I mean, first and foremost, women are definitely not a monolith. So,
Oh
Yeah.
no, they are.
anything
They're no
anything
wait
you
no.
say
You're
about
right. They're
women is
not. They don't
definitely
have
not
the
wrong.
monolith. They don't the stone.
And even within people that are attracted to bad guys per se, like there's possibly a few things going on. One, uh, most quote unquote bad boys are generally confident, and uh, as much as it's not a general trait, confidence is often attractive to most people.
Yeah.
And also, there is definitely the thing about desiring somebody that your parents will hate,
Hmm.
especially when you're
Mhm.
young. That's not a universal thing, but it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
And also at
Uh,
that age,
also
the
like
bad boy stands out. There's a
Yeah,
charismatic element to it.
yeah, and then you find out that the bad guy is really a bad guy who's a giant jerk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
And also, I
Uh,
think part of that is projection by writers and directors. John
mhm.
Hughes wrote some bad boys, and those guys were just dicks, but they were a
Mhm.
reflection of his beliefs and desires.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
but there's also like it's like the trope of like a horse book where somebody tames a wild stallion. It's kind of the same thing in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
and
s-
let us not forget that also a lot of women are socialized uh from their youth to want or to uh you know to be put in a place where they are controlled by somebody, and even
They
if
go
they
after
don't
the James Dean character, or the
exactly.
Byron, or the Bender.
mhm.
Let's see.
Contrast where I said like some women like the idea of protection or project as work too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many things going on with that.
Yeah. And I like also like what concept Rush said. I have like some dudes, but I have enough assholes in my life as well too.
Yeah.
And then you also have what's his name, Rob Roy,
Mhm.
the character played by Qui-Gon Jinn. um, and he's played a lot of guys like that. You know, outsiders, loners. Rob Roy was a Scotsman, so a romantic outsider, a cattle thief, but who had strong sense of honor. But not Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't that character, but later he played the guy from Taken, and Taken
Yeah.
2, and Taken 3.
I have a certain set of skills as
Yeah.
well.
So
And
the
that's
guy with
stoic
an
man.
edge. Yeah,
Mhm.
the guy who is dangerous, but not for
Right.
you.
Is
He's a bad guy to everyone else except the heroine, where he's her protector.
Yeah.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's a certain romanticism to that. I don't. That doesn't come through in reality because a guy like that's just going to be dangerous to everyone.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
It's like you don't want to get with that guy because
hmm
yeah.
Oh, I see.
s- Joey also says, I've been lucky in that I married two good guys who have also are good dads. I did date one total church canoe, though it was like toxic relationship too as well. And uh, uh, I think we already mentioned this as well because
I'm
like
curious about the quote marks there. I
uh,
mean, that suggests to me that they were good dads, but not good guys, and that Lucky is putting in a lot of work there.
mhm. But there's also like bad boys with a heart of gold though, like some punk rockers. Well, okay, so like now that now
If they're
that's
really punk, yeah, I can
yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But a lot of those
Uh,
punks,
Aren't
the early
really bad
ones,
guys.
bad boys with a heart of gold, some of those early punks were pretty self-destructive,
mm.
like most of the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, but this is the good guys. I don't really think so.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you heard Johnny Rotten.
What is it with like some like old rock stars that like kind of like oh wait they grow older and become rich and then like want to like protect the status quo because like they're like privileged in the status quo as well too because status quo worked for
You
them.
don't become
So,
conservative as you grow older. You get conservative as you grow richer, and it's not
yeah.
conservative; it's fascist.
Yes, agreed. Um, now, I don't know how true this is from what I heard in the past. So like, I should do my own research. It's like it seems like most people what was dysfunctional in their family becomes attractive in like their potential.
I don't know
No,
if it becomes attractive. It's just that they see it as normal and
right, comfortable.
they accept it. In a way that they wouldn't.
Comfortable is a good word there.
Very
Yeah.
yes, comfortable.
But
No,
there's
good.
also, I think you also have to remember competition between women, and a bad guy might be hard to get.
Ah.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he's such a douche, he keeps pushing you away. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Joey. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
yeah. So I think there's an element of that to it, but when it comes down to it, no one really wants bad guy.
Yeah.
And Joey specified no good guys is in quotes because they were the white hat type of good guy, the one who pretends to be good but is really actually a Joss Whedon type. And Joey was lucky in quotes because there's cons with being with the good guy type. Yeah,
I see.
that makes a lot of
Okay.
sense.
Oh,
That does.
Joss Whedon type is like chef's kiss for the description of that.
I mean,
He seems good
did
most of the time.
he expressed a good kind of feminism. It was a second wave '90s girl power feminism, but he did
Yeah.
not live up to it in his personal
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
He was a bully. He was a bully.
He also kind of tortured Buffy a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
part of that is just the format. You know, the hero has to go through shit. Like She-Ra got tormented. She lost her best friend, and they fought for years before they finally got back together and got married. They got married. That's canon. Shut up.
Oh, you mean the character? I thought you meant literally the
Actress.
I thought you meant the actress, and I'm like, most of the stories are about Charisma Carpenter and that, but I would not be
Yeah.
surprised if.
No, as far as I
Yeah,
can
Charisma
tell, he tortured
Carpenter,
everyone.
That was not.
Yeah, Joss Whedon tortured everyone off camera, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He-
but the character Buffy went through hell, and so did She-Ra. And She-Ra got married. She-Ra and Catra got married. That's canon.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
But also he threatened to beat up. What's the actor that played Spike?
the guy with the cheekbones.
James Marsden.
Yes,
Yeah.
Spike.
Yeah. Also the narrator of the Dresden Files books, and he's so good narrating those. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to get past the first one because that one was so like 50s hard-boiled spy detective, just
Yeah, yeah.
sexist.
The second
There was the almost rape where that makes him a good guy because he didn't actually go through with the rape. I mean,
the second one you can probably skip to, but once you get to the third one, the writing gets a lot better from there.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Marsters.
Yeah.
James Marsden was Cyclops. Marsters is Spike.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say the wrong name?
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought of that because they have such similar names.
Yes,
they
they do.
have very similar names.
Right. Dysfunction is more familiar and then comfortable to. Like,
That I
say,
think is a very good point. But familiar is comfortable. You're used to it. People don't venture out of their
comfort
familiar
zone.
zone.
Yeah. I agree. So, the thinking about like something that was said in the previous conversation about like the almost rape scene as well, or like good guys were. It reminds me how many people have seen the movie Wings of Onyamas as well.
What was the name?
And Wings of Onyamas. It was an anime movie from 1987, Japanese animated movie.
I think you're the only one.
I don't think so.
Okay. Because like there's a lot of discussion to be had about like there's the main character, a good guy, and attempted like to rape
You
someone.
mean Wings of
too.
Olympus?
No, Holy Space Force brings Wings of Onyamas. I'll get the name as well.
Steve talked about it on his late seating one time.
Yes, because like he really loves that like movie, and he and I like talk about like on his Ask
Honiyamas. Okay.
Onyamas.
Okay, I thought you were saying Oleamus. I misheard you. Okay. Royal Space Force.
Yes, Royal Space Force Wings of Onyamas as well.
Oh, that is such an 80s anime picture right there.
Yes, it is. But like
But you wanted to say something about the almost rape thing.
Yes, she fought him off as well. Yeah, it's like uncomfortable and spoiler warning, but like it's
trigger warning.
Trigger warning, yeah. But the thing is, like, why many people are uncomfortable with that, but I think about like why a lot of men are kind of uncomfortable with it, because I think that's actually kind of the truth with like rapes as well. It often happens by like people that like the person knows. And so many guys do not want to believe that they could be that guy, but like no, it's like it's very possible if like yeah, yeah, if you gotta like either know the singles or controls, or at least you gotta understand consent, and like how many of us are taught consent as if we're
And there's ways to ease into that. It's not a simple black and white thing. There's lots and lots of ways to hurt people.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we have only started to have that whole conversation around consent because it really wasn't a conversation like 20 years ago. And if you watched a lot of movies, they were very sort of rapey, and that's where a lot of people got their ideas around relationships and having sex from. Like,
Yeah.
You don't have to watch porn to think rape is a good idea. You have to watch James
yeah,
Bond.
James Bond. Yeah.
And what do you call it? There was even the step before that where it was viewed as bad. Just the physically denying consent was the only thing that was viewed as bad. That a lot of movies like showed like all of the other things that muddy consent just not being addressed as being bad. Any of the deception or coercion.
Yeah, Revenge of the Nerds as like the guy that, but yet the girl like liked it because like the nerd was good, but yet she was thinking that she was with her boyfriend at the time. Or like in other 80s movies, other John Hughes movies, I think it was 16 Candles, but like so one jock was carrying around the drunk girl and then just hands her off to someone else, and.
Do you remember that scene from Police Academy where they have hidden a prostitute
The hooker,
underneath
yeah.
the podium?
Yes.
That is actually, if you think about it, sort of with from a consent standpoint, he's getting raped while he's actually making that speech.
Yes.
And there's also the complicating factor for a while now of that women weren't allowed to publicly acknowledge that they wanted to have sex, and therefore you get the conflict in I really can't stay. Maybe it's cold outside. Is that a song about sexual coercion, or is she playing coy so that she doesn't get called a whore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game, as it were.
Yeah, it I mean, given the tone of the song, it definitely seems like the latter, but it's not unreasonable that people thought it was the former.
You're absolutely right. Context rents. Consent without bodily autonomy doesn't exist. Children should be allowed to say no to hugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually it's like there's been like a movement for early on where it's just like the parents should like be able to ask like their child if do you want your nappies changed as were, do you want your diapers changed as were, because like even that process is were I think because that can
there's issues with that because leaving that on too long can cause rashes and injuries.
Yeah, I'll say there's
there have to be
where, like having that be part of the process to teach consent makes sense, but just not changing them is neglect.
Yeah. And also, it's like if your kid doesn't want to go to the store, you're going to have to take them with you because your child needs supervision because they just don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's a complex negotiation when it comes to children, I think.
True.
Than the way that it isn't with adults. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think the thing about the nappies is that you're not really asking the child if they want to. You're sort of saying, I'm going to change your nappy now, explaining what's happening to the child instead of just doing it.
That's a very good way of putting it. My opinion with parenting and childhood is that parents don't have rights over their children. They are exercising the child's own rights on their behalf. and they have to do so in a way that their child will want them to have done when the child can understand and consent to it as an adult. Parents don't have rights over their children. The child has rights. The parent is being a custodian, trying to do good things.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh yeah, I
that's
mean, obviously
honestly
Republicans are wrong about this, but
that is honestly one of, in my opinion, one of the grossest conservative beliefs.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And never ever read "Raise Up a Child" unless you want to get furious and kill people.
Yeah, thank you, Contact Us. I am reading the Survivor Mama Teaching Consent medium comic that you shared with me, and you're right, it does address that as well too, right? Because like, yeah, it does brought up the diaper rash sort of thing, where it's just like neglecting that would be neglecting neglect as well too. So yeah, again, another reminder about like consent is where, and yeah, Jordan, they always ask my nieces and nephews if I could like hug them as well. I just never had the desire to like hug my folks, my family members as well. But like, other than like with like the adults, like my stepsister, I just saw her last night too. But like she, well, this is like. That was like a signal. It's like, hey, you want a hug and something like that, and I of course like hug her. Disagree on the version of like moderating personal care, though. But I see your point. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, this is a complex and difficult negotiation, and
But it's also like I know from like a care standpoint, if you have someone who helps you with hygiene, it feels violating if they just grab,
do stuff
like,
without asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels really. That feels like a violation of your boundaries. So if, I mean, I always tell people no if they start to do that. I always sort of, because it has to be no. That feels like a violation. It's so gross if people just start lifting various body parts.
And I think that would be true for children as well. We have to respect them as people.
Yeah, and like telling them what's going on. I'm going to wipe your bottom. I'm going to clean you off. I'm going to put clothes on you now. So that the child understands what is going on. Because I think children can probably understand more than we give them credit for.
My grandson is 3 months old. He don't give a damn. He takes a shit, he gets changed. He wants feeding, he gets fed. There is, I'm afraid to say, at 3 months, there ain't a great deal of back and forth about this situation.
But it doesn't take long before they start expressing themselves, even when they can't talk. Remember
expresses by crying.
I mean, my nephew Jack was when he was pre-verbal, he was struggling to speak, and you could sense the frustration that he couldn't talk yet.
Yeah.
Well, which is why I think you can actually teach children like certain hand signals and certain sign language at that very early age before they're able to verbalize things as well. So you do that kind of communications and that sort of thing too. And
I just listened to an episode of I think it was Cara Santa Maria's podcast about nonverbal folk and about verbal communication, or sorry, nonverbal hand communication. Completely nonverbal, not just gesturing while you're talking, but speaking with your hands. And they mentioned very young children as well as deaf people.
Yeah. What do you call it? My sister would comment. She started working in the healthcare field between her two children, and one of the earlier things you learn working in healthcare with, especially with people with special needs, is this, which is the really, it's probably a gross version of it, but it's bathroom.
Okay. Wait, could you make the gesture again? It looked like you just. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's essentially just shaking the hand. I don't know if that's like if the actual sign language is more complicated than that, but that is And that is so much easier for when potty training a kid. It is so much easier for them in that stage to communicate that than
I think it's like
I
just
need
like
to go to the bathroom.
yeah,
It's
like
basically
this.
I'm moving poop.
It's particularly
Oh.
where it's like the thumb is between the index and middle
Yeah,
finger. it
like
seems
I said, that's probably a really crude version of it,
Yeah.
but it suffices, when you want to communicate with somebody who has difficulty verbally communicating.
Yeah.
It's like speaking in sign language with an accent.
Exactly.
And yeah, and absolutely Jordan Joe P. If they don't want to hug, respect that.
Agreed.
In context, it's not asking if you, as receiver, can't moderate time, touch, and speed. It matters as much as sequence, even as a kid, or if hygiene is required. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point.
You don't
And
just
and
grab people and do stuff to them ever.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And
Oh, it's
even
ASL
if
for
you,
toilet.
Toilet. I see.
and even if you can't ask or can't you still have to do that thing. There is a bit of respect in asking 1st, even if you can't accept the answer no.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing: the people working in the care field,
Shaken letter
especially
T.
when
Oh.
I see.
especially when doing cares that are mandatory and court ordered and have to be done, and and are involuntary, the asking and providing time for them to adjust and get set for it is the best way to smooth over an already bad situation. A person that has to get their monthly shot because they are court ordered to it, if you come and address them and ask first and give them time to at least say no for a while, it's still better for them and for you and for not getting hit to address it that way as was, well, nope, we're doing this now, and just lifting up their sleeve and grabbing them and giving them the shot.
A Day Without Words, a must-read that belongs in every home and classroom. A Day Without Words find readers into the life of an autistic family who communicates just as the child does without spoken language. This word too, because like no, yeah, I think it's like just for like many different reasons. It's kind of like go to like know this kind of things for like any person that likes nonverbal, whether temporary or permanently, to like be able to communicate this word too as well. Yeah, and that's why like I think it's like helpful to like learn some just simple things for children as well who like can't yet verbally communicate but like can use hand gestures.
But at this point, I want to warn people, because we're talking about nonverbal and communication and so on. Be don't try. Fuck off with facilitated communication, where that's a Ouija board. Basically, one person holds the other person's hand, the nonverbal person's hand, and moves it over a keyboard so they can type something out. What ends up happening is that the verbal person just types out what they want to hear.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't even heard of this. Wow.
It was popular in the 90s. I think it died down. It waited into an episode of Law and Order. That's how I heard of it.
And they tested people by putting the person who needed help communicating on one side of the screen, then they put the assistant on the other side of the screen, and then they showed the two different pictures, and then they asked
what is the picture of, and they said the wrong thing. Yeah
they consistently said the wrong thing. And but I would also say that it's also good to be skeptical if all sort of non-speaking autistic people can all of a sudden write on like a PhD level. That is maybe not sort of plausible. I mean, it's a nice thought that there's a brilliant mind sort of trapped in a person who can't speak, but it's not that's also not seeing the person.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Because,
Not
like,
everyone is a hidden Shakespeare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also seen that episode too before.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of like goes along with the terrible tropes in like media about like the special child, as it were.
The
It's just
disability
like,
superpower,
Yeah.
yes. The
like
last
that TV show
Predator,
Monk. Ugh.
yeah, TV show Monk, especially. Not the last Predator movie. The last Predator movie was Prey, which was really good. But the one before that, where it's like autism was like a higher form of evolution. It's like,
No.
yeah.
I don't know if it's still a thing. It might have been laughed out of existence by now, but there was a thing called Indigo. There was a thing about
Oh, the
a
Indigo
little
Child.
movie
Yeah,
called Indigo Child thing.
yeah.
Good Lord.
Jenny McCarthy and her autistic child.
She was a monster. She was one of that.
Yeah,
One, but
it's probably still out there because some parents will never accept that their child
Yeah.
is different in a way that will make their life more difficult.
yeah,
In his ellistic society, yeah.
and yeah, it's. Oh, I can't. I mean, you hear it all the time, don't you? Parents who never.
I mean,
accept
Gwyneth
that-
Paltrow is still out there making a
My-
fortune, so obviously the Indigo Child thing is still
Yeah.
a thing.
Oh
Yeah.
god, the goop.
Yeah.
I knew a guy once. I went to a school with him. He used facilitated communication, and it was so obvious that it was his mother who felt terribly guilty about abandoning her child when he was younger. He had invented that he could write very, very eloquently, and I don't doubt that guy could communicate in a way, but I felt like she wasn't seeing him. She was sort of using him as a prop.
Yeah.
He could communicate in some ways, I'm sure, but there, she wasn't doing that. She wasn't allowed.
No.
It's another form of projection, isn't it? You know that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, because the guy Thomas was born in like in the 60s, where it was common if you have a disabled child, you abandon them.
Yeah.
Yep.
You put them in an institution, and I'm sure she felt terribly guilty about it. So she sort of she was. That woman is also a celebrity in Denmark. And, yeah, and talked about vaccines causing her son's disability.
Fuck.
God.
Yeah,
As a listener Arnold one jokingly said when she got her vaccine one time, "Yay, my autism is rising," as it were, and the look on the like practitioner giving the shots, like. Because like, I bet that person gets it all the time, and from like those like
I
agree.
hate that.
You're right, context wrench. No special
Yeah,
needs, just diversity of needs. We all have needs. Some of us have different needs. They're
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember when people used to call us gifted. I didn't know. How are we? Well, you gotta remember too. Like, it's always weird when neurotypicals like to make these assumptions because it's like, yeah, but your society isn't all like your society isn't that good either. So how are we gifted when it's like
Brilliant.
gifted as opposed to what the world you guys? Oh, okay.
assisted
it's like
communication
one of the-
has to be. There are ways to assist people in communication, Wrench. The ones where you physically lift and move the thing for them is the one where it gets to the Ouija board. It has to be them controlling it. Is the issue.
It's called facilitated communication. It's a very special technique.
Yeah.
You hold the hand like this, and you sort of prompt them to type also.
Yeah. There are a lot of ways that caregivers can convince themselves they're helping by abusing.
Yeah. The martyr mothers are a real problem. Like,
Martyr
contact
mothers,
friends.
And I mean, sometimes they don't even know they're actually abusing. That's the other
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, that's the
you
other
know,
problem.
You know, it's they the people genuinely believe they're doing the right thing or the best.
Yeah, the training up a child parents think they're doing the right thing. They're wrong.
No such thing as a perfect
No one thinks they're
parent.
the bad guy.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no such thing as a perfect parent. And, you know, it's very easy for people to say, oh, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that wrong. What they actually mean is, my experience was that this worked, therefore I'm going to imply that you should share my experience, regardless of whether it works for you or not.
That person could be lying too, because I've had people say,
or not even necessarily lying, could just be wrong about it working.
Seriously wrong.
people like to say like spanking helped them, but
Oh,
Yeah.
in what way? Like, I don't know.
You know, it's you know, for a long time it was called English disease, was spanking as a sexual fetish.
It's a sign of. I mean, the reason for that is that spanking is not about actually helping people. It's a sign of domination and control.
It's control.
Okay. Yeah.
Or when they sit there and say like, I spanked you because I loved you. That's what some
Oh.
Actually, that's
There was
what-
a country song calling the old man out that just
Was
showed
that-
how fucked up that culture is in some ways. Because it just shows how every single one of the sons eventually got so fed up with their father that they challenged him to a fist fight, and the dad beat the shit out of them.
Jesus.
Yeah.
everyone used to say that something helped them. In reality, you don't really know. They could be just bullshit.
It didn't help
Yeah.
you. You survived it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, I survived like my dad spanking me, and thankfully he didn't like carry that on. And
Oh, that was Garth Brooks. Jesus Christ.
Oh, there's been times my dad like beat me, like punched me and stuff. So spanking was like the least.
My dad hit me with his belt once. when I was younger,
By
but
the time I came
had
along,
I had
Go
done
ahead.
something. I'm not going to deny it, you know, and I'd done something I really wasn't proud of, and it knocked the shit out. You know, it scared the shit out of me, and I'm quite happy to admit it. You know, did it do me any good in the long run? Meh, probably not. But you know, I definitely don't. I definitely never believed in doing what I'd been caught out doing ever again. So, you know,
I mean-
would I have grown into understanding that you shouldn't do it? Of course I would have done. I was about 7 or 8 at the bloody time, for crying out loud.
I think
Well,
the issue is not if it's a one-time thing where a parent
It was,
loses their temper
his
because parents
life.
are people. I think it's
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's over and over, then the issue is that
Yeah.
the parents they have something wrong that they need to
yes,
deal with.
it's
and
when
they
it
take out on
becomes
you.
a recurrent. It's when it becomes a recurrent.
Jesus
pattern.
fucking Christ, Jordan! Oh my
Bloody
God!
hell,
Wow. I'm so hoping you don't have contact with your father if like you did that once. As we're okay, and yeah.
Okay, now let's change the subject to something positive before we go out on a cats. Cats
Oh.
are good. Ailey had her cat on her lap. Their cat.
Oh,
Sorry.
What do you call it? My roommate went. Her job made her go to Georgia for a month.
Oh,
Not a
I'm
month,
sorry,
a
Jordan.
week, because internet and program problems. I don't know all of the details, but the cats have been so much like while she was away. They're like, hey,
Oh.
my favorite person's not here. You'll do.
It's sort of like when my brother takes my dog for a walk and Sasha hangs out with me.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was a nice. It was a
I'm sorry,
nice
Jordan.
silver lining. It was a nice silver lining to my roommate that I'm fond of and generally like hanging out with being away. The cats hung out with me more.
Yeah. Stay safe, Jordan Drumpy. That's sucks.
shit.
It's terrible.
My
So-
my dog, I rarely get more than about 15 yards in town without being stopped. And people say how cute she is, and do you mind if we stroke her, or do you mind if we pick her up? It's just like, yeah, I know, okay. big ugly person wearing a heavy leather jacket with a tiny cute dog. It's irresistible.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only thing more popular than dads with their kids on Instagram is dads with their pets.
Oh, but speaks of Instagram and pets, as it were.
Oh,
Ely,
nice segue.
Yes, you have your own Instagram, which is mostly photos of their cat that we just saw, Luna.
Yeah, and also my Blue Sky account, which
Yep.
is coming around.
Mhm.
Yep. I'll post your Blue Sky there. Princess Luna on Blue Sky and Luna Agrarian. I never.
Yeah. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Luna Docs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But it's just like I'm enjoying Blue Sky for cat content.
It's like Twitter without the Nazis.
Yeah. It is. It's
And
like,
of course, it's got Neil Gaiman.
but it's like I have to be careful though, because sometimes I think I'm posting to Twitter and then I'm actually posting to Blue Sky and vice versa, because it's so similar.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, so like Mithro Joe, do you got anything to plug?
No.
No.
Do you have any colonies you would like to share with us?
Many. Except, to be quite honest, you lot have taken over most of our old colonies by now. So.
Yeah. Our military bases. Somebody actually on Facebook said we're not an empire.
Because we call ourselves a Fire Nation instead.
Yeah, well, about that one.
So yeah, that's interesting, Georgia. But you have a love-hate relationship with your dad, because you did save his life once, because you went home and when he was having a stroke and called 911. So there's that at least. So sorry about that. Isaiah Taylor, do you have a couple of things to promote? Do you want to promote or to focus on?
Cappadocia.
I'm good at the moment because I'm in the process of updating my phone, so I'm trying to like transfer all my Instagram stuff over there. So hold off on it, and I'll do that next week if I can.
Actually, I'm kind of
problem.
curious. How's the roommate situation? Once your meth head roommates left, did you get a new roommate, or are you living alone?
I have some new roommates. They're okay, but they have a dog. We're not have dogs in the property.
Oh,
It's
okay.
fine.
Well, of things to like break the rules on dogs on the property, I mean, there's a risk of like an eviction from that one, because that can happen if like even if you think your pets are like will stay as word. There was like one person that like kept the cat at an apartment where it's like he knows that there's the rules against cats at the apartments as were too, and he like on his first date with was now his wife as were, brought her and to his apartment with the eviction notice right on the apartment, because like the cat sat on the window and the property manager saw that as it were. So yeah, but anyway, so be mindful of that. Of like, if you have cats in apartments that like don't allow cats, put them in the cages. Unfortunately, which is the cats and the pets as well. But like, you have to do what you have to do. Well, these places.
Some property managers are more assholes than others,
Exactly.
as I have learned.
But screw landlords. We should get rid of landlordism eventually. That's a part of the project.
We have to have somewhere to live. We should not have landlords.
Yes. I'm Summer Geek on Blue Sky, co-host, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube. But haven't posted anything on YouTube channel. But Twitch, I will be streaming later today on Twitch. I had to decide on what I want to do. I think I'd want to like read up on not on the recent Palestine and Israel conflict as were, but like history of Palestine. I wanted to like educate myself on that. So I think I'll read something about that and like do that on my channel. And then later game for whatever reason, what game I want to, is because I got my new PC and it should run Fortnite as well too. John Brown, you're also on Blue Sky, the Shigoshin.
Or
your old
Sugoshan. It's an entirely online thing. It's not a real word. Therefore, it doesn't have a pronunciation. I got meta about that 20 years ago. And I'm also part of another podcast, Dungeons and Debacles. We may or may not record tonight. Kevin has a terrible headache. And if we do record tonight, it'll be a wedding that we're bum rushing one of our characters into because he had sex with another character and she's part of a family, and that family includes another character in the podcast, and she may or may not be underage. So we're pretending that he got her pregnant and got chlamydia because he's a cat.
Just a question about daylight savings time. Is
November. It's in a few weeks.
Okay. Okay.
Are the symptoms to that like now I forget the illness that's often nicknamed cat scratch fever.
That's because she had cat scratch fever.
Chlamydia?
But it's sexually transmitted.
No, that's when you get hives when you get scratched by a cat.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Bartonella henselae. Oh, it gives you hives and it swells up your lymph nodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But it's a sexually transmitted disease.
No, I think chlamydia will just make him go crazy and blind.
Yeah, but chlamydia in cats causes them to have cold.
Really? Interesting.
You didn't find a blue sky Circosian. Did I misspell it? Let's see.
No, not like a. Okay, well, I would just like to put
Sergoshin.bisky.social. I might be
like
on a different server. I don't know.
But it's fine. Our blue sky's like a search feature is like then not that helpful as well too. Unfortunately, with like blue
Here,
sky,
let me get the full link for you because
Hey,
I want to
Joe,
have
did.
friends. I want to chat with people.
yeah, I could not search Shigoshin on like blue sky. Where you there? But there you go. There's like a Shigoshin.
This is when John finds out he was banned without knowing.
Shadow ban. That's the word.
Shadow ban because I wasn't posting enough. I wasn't posting enough anti-Nazi comments. I'm going to choose to assume that it's run by anti-Nazis. The anti-Elon
that's
Musk.
a good.
Who's the anti-Elon Musk? Some random geek. That's who.
I am the
Does
star of
actual
the
work
Buffalo.
and helps people and isn't
Yes.
rich and famous.
I just like work as like 12-hour days or try to as it were, and then like get the money I can to my comrades' needs charity links that page. I just updated.
And
it to
Joe,
so
you're the anti Bezos, and Ely, you're the anti Hillary Clinton, and Mithril, you're the anti.
Call me a woman again.
That, like I said, anti.
Yeah.
And let's see, Mithril, you're the anti John
Margaret Thatcher?
Adams.
Yeah.
Why John Adams?
Because he's old, he's white, he's dead, and American.
Anti all that.
Like I legit don't know that. Not much about John Adams, so I don't know.
He was our second president. How dare you not know things about him? And yes, Ely, I'm sorry if... No. Sorry that. Not sorry if, sorry that.
And what
I
am
definitely... you're the anti-Eminem.
Where does the black guy get left out?
You hadn't talked in a while, sorry. You're the anti-Eminem.
You're the anti. Who's that conservative black guy?
There's so many of them.
there's like three of them.
Herman Cain. No, he's dead.
Justice
I mean, that
Clarence
has to be one of the
Thomas.
things
You're the
you stand
anti-Clarence
for, but-
Thomas. God damn it. Doesn't have to be the
Cosby
token.
is a
I'm
good
going with
one.
anti-Eminem because you don't listen to rap and you are kind of white.
Ben Carson.
Only a little bit white. Only in your heart.
What about like the anti Tim Scott?
I don't know who Tim Scott is.
Senator from.
I should know him because
So the stream just ended.
he's a senator from South Carolina.
No, the stream has not ended because we haven't ended the show
Frozen
yet. We,
we're
it's
still
in your-
talking.
It's your.
It's taken us
internet,
15
Bailey.
minutes to say goodbye.
Yeah.
It's Wisconsin goodbye. Okay, goodbye everyone.
Bye
Mind
bye
yourself
everybody.
around.
I'll go
Take
ahead
care
and
of
turn off the
yourselves.
stream now. Everybody wave. Hydrate,
wow.
medicate.
And
Self-care is the thing. Where you take mutual aid. There we go. Self-care is mutual aid. Bye-bye.